I want to do a few things today. I spent quite a bit of time in the other two sections. You're my third of each of these days on the sort of Zoom tutorial or getting ready on Zoom. And Troy and I have decided that by the time we got now to 2:15, most of you are reasonably conversant with it. To the extent you're not, you'll come up to speed quickly, or you'll ask Troy on chat, for any help on this. So I'm not going to do sort of the technical side, but what I do want to do is to establish with you what I want to do Zoom-wise using this platform for this course, and how I'd like this course to be special in terms of still being highly engaged as it would be normally. So I'll talk to you a bit about that. Then I'm going to go to what I normally would do, and let me just get my deck up in front of you, which is to talk a little bit about this particular course, because many of you may be taking it, and very kind words were offered on YellowDig because you liked what you saw at orientation, or you heard about this course from other people, or your PAs or whatever. And what I'd like to do is be sure that that's in fact what you do want to do. And so we'll kind of spend a little time thinking about what is this course really all about, and be sure that this is what you want to be doing in your last term, first years and second years for this year. And then dive into the Donna Dubinsky case itself. So a little bit of sort of Zoom philosophy and approach. Then we'll go to what the course overall is about and the subject matter, and then we'll demonstrate it through the case. And end with a little bit of Jick in a box summary. That's my kind of branding for a summary of what we've done in each class, literally kind of giving it to you in a ribbon what the main themes were. Not to suggest that you would understand that if you didn't attend the class, because everything builds to those last few slides. Not that by seeing those last two slides you'll remember the whole class. It's just a sort of tweak to help you remember it. Couple of other quick starting points. Troy Singer should be known to all of you as he's the big poobah academic rep, and I've been conversing with you very fondly these last few days about all the fun stuff on the platform of AddDrop. But Troy is stupendous. Troy has taken org change. There he is waving to you. He's taken advanced org change, and he's taken Bridging the American Divide. So this poor guy has already taken 3 courses with me, and for that I get, how about a 4th? Because he didn't capture everything on org change. Take it again and be the TA, and thank goodness he said yes. So Troy is your go-to guy. He'll be go-to through these sessions more so than he would have been in the classroom, because we're going to have the chat function as a way of communicating, and he'll be overseeing that. He'll be helping me with calling on people when they raise their hands or don't raise their hands. So Troy is a tremendous asset for all of us, and so welcome, Troy, and great to have you at my side. The second thing I want to mention is YellowDig. Now let me see if I can get here or not. No, this is my difficulty. All right, hang on with me a second. We're going to do a new share, and we're going to go to what happened to my YellowDig. Okay. Not getting to where I want to, so we're going to do, hang with me one second. Let's see if I can now get to YellowDig. Okay. Most of you have gotten onto YellowDig, but not everybody. Here we go. And let's see if I can manipulate this. So if I look at the community who's joined, it's a number of you who have, in fact, put your pictures up and begun to post. I've commented on a lot of the posts. I couldn't quite keep up late last night as you continued to post. Those of you who have not yet registered and not put your photo and not posted, you are encouraged to do that. This is a tremendous platform that I've used now for 4 years in org change as a way to supplement what we do in the classroom. It's even more important now with the remote version, because it gives us a chance to continue discussions, to provide inputs about a lot of the topics that we've had, and to, I think, kind of update and validate a lot of what we're talking about in the 90 minutes, which can never be sufficient for 68 students on such a rich topic as org change. So please do contribute to it. Thank you to those who have already contributed to it. You also should be reading a number of these. I mean, they're not just for me, they're in fact for all of you, because everything I said at orientation, that we're a community with a lot of horsepower and we ought to be able to converse with each other. This is a great way to do that. So thanks to all of you. I haven't gotten, Constantine, I didn't get to yours. Victor, I didn't get to yours, but if I go down, well, you guys are really out ahead of me. I got to Alan's, I got to Paula's, I got to Michael's, I got to Gizem, if I pronounce that right. I apologize if I'm not, etc. So Eleanor. So where I've been able to respond, I have, but you all ought to be looking at them. You'll see how interesting your classmates are, and encourage those other classmates to contribute in various ways to the classes. I've made notes of where some of you I think will be well suited to contribute. For example, where's Eliza Khan? Eliza, are you somewhere out there? If you can unmute for a second. All right, so you went to Brandeis?
Yeah.
All right, so in the class next Tuesday is the Brandeis case. You were not there when Yehuda Reinhardt was there. You were there after.
Yeah, but I know what happened with the Rose Art Museum.
Okay, so you are going to be our very go-to person for that. So where I've been able to kind of connect your background to what I think is the course material, I have some notes, but I will be forever in your debt if you can look ahead at cases and just say, I've got some background on downsizing. I was involved with a layoff. So when we get to class 7 on downsizing, you know, I'd be happy to help out. We're doing mergers in class 4 and 6. I've got 4 people in M&A, 5 people in M&A that I think can sort of talk to that. So ways in which your background can be incorporated in. I'm trying to get to know 210 students in one shot. I'm doing my best to get to know them and keep notes, etc. So I got my eyes on all of you, and help me out, and I'll get to know you better. More importantly, you'll get to know each other better through this platform. Okay, that's Yellow Dig. Last thing I want to say is I will always, at the beginning of class, talk about what we're going to do the next class. So next class is on Merrill Lynch. It's, again, a classic case just like this one is today. Donna Dominski is insanely classic. It's been around for 30 years because it's got many universal issues. But Merrill Lynch is a fascinating sort of example and symptom of financial services industry going through huge transformation, ultimately disappearing or going into BAML. Do I have somebody? No, I have somebody from investment banking that can talk about it. But anyway, we will talk about the rise and fall of Merrill Lynch and the CEOs and their leadership of change through that period. So there's a short case that I wrote. I did a lot of consulting, a lot of work at Merrill Lynch, plus some supplementary articles. The New Yorker had a piece, Fortune had a piece that will give you more color about that story. That's what we're going to cover next time, and the topic itself we'll talk about in a few moments. All right, so I'm going to do this part quickly. Here we are, as we say, we've got a lot of items about our core culture that we can carry forward, still be present, prepared, and participating. That's not going to change. The nature of participation will change. We'll talk about that in a second. We're going to take the high tech of Zoom with the high touch of Jick and try and get a nice blend of the two so that we feel communal through this experience, and utilize all the horsepower of this section, which is, by the way, substantial. This section, we have most of the country of India in this section. I lost count at about a dozen folks that grew up in India. So I don't know why this section was appealing to all of our fellow Indian students, but we have a large contingent from India. And good news for all of us, we have a lot of healthcare people, including one joint MBA and Masters of Public Health. Where's Payal? Payal, are you? I may not be pronouncing your name right. Are you here?
Hi.
Where are you, Payal? I'll hopefully see you. Can you unmute and say hello? There you are.
Hi.
You're doing a combination of public health and MBA?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you know, public health, we need some help these days.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you got some compatriots, Lizzie Green, also in healthcare, and John Dose, you're in healthcare, and Priya, you're in healthcare. We got a lot of healthcare. So all of you, I think, will be very appropriate if we get to the coronavirus topic in and of itself, which is obviously a challenging topic to discuss. But Al, thank you very much for your participation. That's an example of the horsepower that we have in the class. Let's take full advantage of it. The protocols are pretty straightforward. I'm not going to do much with this. At this point, we'll learn, if you haven't learned hand raising, you'll learn that. I'm going to ask you to engage. I'm going to ask you to kind of shut everything else off and also expose yourself. I mean, I'm not seeing much in terms of people's living rooms and bedrooms and the like, but this is a funny tweet that I found, which had this cartoon about the fact that we're all kind of now living in somebody else's spaces that we wouldn't normally be living in. So here is a little bit about what we're going to do and not going to do. We're not going to be passive. We're not going to just have our audio on. We're not going to be multitasking. We're not going to have private chats. We're not going to be phone surfing. We're not going to kind of just sit up in the back row and hope we don't get called on. Instead, we're going to have a lot of fast-paced elements to involve people. You're going to be stepping up when you unmute, stepping back after you've spoken, you mute. We're going to be focused on what we're doing here. We're going to be chatting, if anything, to everyone, which is what your setting is right now. Phones should be away, and basically enjoy what I call moments in the sun. And those moments in the sun are ways in which I've designed this course with this Zoom platform to be participating, much as I would in the regular classroom, some even better aspects, some lesser aspects. So we'll have polls, which you've had in classes before, you know about that. We're going to have, obviously, the ability to raise your hand. That's a normal item. We're going to have, let me see if this is blocked. What do I have there? Fish bowls I'm going to talk about in a second. Excuse me. We're going to have cold calling along the way, which I promised you in orientation, and which we can certainly do here, which is not a threat. It's more a notion of I want to get as many people in the conversation as possible. And we're even going to have what are literally called breakouts, in which you'll be forming into 4 or 5 other students with a question that I've given you, and you will have a few minutes to have a discussion privately with 4 or 5 people, and then report back to the class. So as we would in class, talk to your neighbors, talk amongst yourselves. We'll be able to do that here through this platform. So whatever aspects of this platform had the ability to be interactive, I went for it. And so just be alert that that's what we're going to be doing to keep the involvement up. And Yellow Dig is my offline version, which again is available 24/7 to add comments to a given case, update things. After this case today, you'll certainly want to know more about Donna Dubinsky. You'll Google her and you'll see all sorts of interesting things about her that you can again contribute to the to Yellow Dig for all of us to have. Fishbowl, if we get to that today, I'm not sure we will, is to have 4 or 5 people pre-assigned to have a conversation about a part of the case, and all of us listen in. We listen in, and then later we can commentate. But have 4 or 5 people be the kind of collective cold call to answer a question together, as if we were in their breakout room with listening in ability to hear what they had to say. So that's the fishbowl idea. Yellow Dig I already talked about. And so in total, we're going to kind of keep it moving through the 90 minutes with different ways to get involved. All of this is recorded for posterity, for you to listen back to, for me to listen back to. All your chat comments are collected. Breakouts, some of them are recorded, some sample breakouts, so all of that's there. Yellow Dig I mentioned. Stay entirely focused on this browser as well as the case materials or course materials, and when we get to that. And again, that's what I just said. So that's the kind of deal about all this. Do I have support for that approach? Can I see either effective? Thanks for the physical thumbs up. I'll take some physical thumbs up for the moment. If you want to get fancy, give me the thumbs up that's in where is it? The participant guide? Participant, Troy? Where's the thumbs up? Participant?
Yeah, it's in, if you go into participants.
There you go. There go the thumbs up. Okay. So I'm going to take the sample of people I've seen as indicative that we are ready to rock and roll on that.